The phrase high maintenance things that I do to stay low maintenance has gotten pretty popular in the beauty community recently. And dare I say this is a completely nonsensical oxymoronic phrase. You cannot simultaneously be high maintenance and low maintenance. Now, the phrase stems from the idea of doing a lot of your beauty treatments at once to then omit that step in your beauty routine at a future date. For example, people might go and get lash extensions so they don't have to apply mascara. Maybe go out and get their brows done so they don't have to worry about applying their brow. In theory, these are freeing up a portion of your time, therefore theoretically making you now low maintenance. But the idea that these high maintenance tasks actually lead to a life of low maintenance is an illusion. It's a lie sold to us by the beauty industry. Because in reality, these tasks are actually more maintenance than their counterparts while also being more expensive. And I want to break down the math here. So let's use the category that's probably discussed the most in the argument for being high maintenance in order to be low maintenance: eyebrows. So the idea goes, instead of having to do your brows every day, and I put having in air quotes because we do not have to do our brows, you opt for having a beauty treatment done that then omits that step from your everyday routine. A popular service right now is to go to the salon and have your brows laminated and tinted. So I wanted to pull some numbers. I found a salon here in New York City that provides this service, and on their website they say to have both done, a tint and lamination, it would cost you $128, and then factoring in that you'll probably be paying a 20% tip on top of that, this service would cost you $153.60. Maybe seems like a good deal to not have to do your brows every morning. Again, I don't like doing my eyebrows. But the cost doesn't stop there because you need to get to the appointment. So depending on where you live, if you drive a car, you would factor in gas, maybe even the cost of owning your car, but like that's getting kind of nitty gritty. But since I'm using an example here in New York City, I will include the cost of the train. It's $290 one way, $290 back. So that brings our grand total for this brow service to $159.40. And you're probably thinking, Kelly, duh, of course it's more expensive. Like, we knew that. But the purpose of the treatment here is not to save you money, it is to save you time. Okay, so let's do the math there. So first, let's factor in the time it takes you to find a salon. You know, these are your eyebrows. You want to have them done well. You don't want to go just anywhere. You're probably going to be online reading some reviews. You might be asking some friends for recommendations. Now, this could vary. I don't know how specific you tend to get. Let's just factor in 30 minutes. Again, realistically, it could certainly be higher, but let's just say 30 minutes for you to discover and find a brow place. Now you have to get to said appointment, which again is going to vary widely depending on where you live, how far you're traveling for this. It could be very close by, but I'm going to add in 30 minutes for your round trip, which, to be honest, depending on where you live, could be quite conservative. It could take you 30 minutes just to get there alone, but let's just say on the low end, 30 minutes total to get there. We are now up to 1 hour spent to do this brow process. And that's before we've even had the service done. So let's consider the appointment time. That'll probably take you an hour. We're now up to 2 hours. So at this point, you've invested 2 hours and about $160 to have your brows done. So now let's look at the math on the alternative. If you were to just do your own eyebrows every single day, which again, I feel like I need to keep pointing out, isn't a need. You can certainly walk around with your natural eyebrows that grow out of your head. We have no need to fill them in, but because a lot of us choose to do so, let's talk about that time. So for this example, we're gonna consider that you're applying makeup instead. The brow pencil that I use every single day costs me $11. 11 versus 160, already huge difference, but you know, for good measure, maybe this isn't the only product I'm applying to my brows. Let's say I also use a brow gel, okay? We will factor in both. My brow gel is $12. So now we've got $23 for me to do my brows. Also considering these two products will last me for months and months, probably a similar, if not longer time frame than the service of getting my brows done would last me. But again, you're like, Kelly, no. The savings there is not in the cost of the product, it's in your time. So let's break down the time difference. So a brow tint and lamination could last you anywhere between 6 weeks and 8, but let's split the difference and say 7 for this example. It takes me approximately 2 minutes to do my eyebrows. I timed this. So if we're considering that 7-week timeline and assuming I'm doing my eyebrows every single day, that equals 98 minutes or 1 hour and 38 minutes. So still less time than it would take me to go and have this brow service provided. The time saving here is an illusion. It doesn't exist. Now, certainly there could be other cosmetic treatments where there is a time savings once you factor in everything. But this time savings comes at a hefty cost because these beauty services need to be maintained continually. Katie Tossin coined this the hot girl hamster wheel, saying that every dollar you spend in the beauty world functions like a commitment to spend more in the future because each and every treatment, service item, etc. must be maintained. And I wanted to open this video with the criticism of the phrase high maintenance things that I do to remain low maintenance because one, it's been getting under my skin for a while now, but two, this idea underscores everything I want to talk about in today's video, which is the popularity of treatments, injectables, and other cosmetic procedures as an alternative to makeup, aka makeup is out and plastic surgery is in. Okay, so first things first, obviously a brow lamination is not plastic surgery. I understand this, trust me. We will be talking extensively about plastic surgery today, but other beauty treatments as well that wouldn't actually be considered plastic surgery, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to lump under them under this umbrella of just different beauty treatments. You know, we'll explore things like skin treatments, injectables, permanent makeup, aka like facial tattoos. And I'll put them all under this umbrella for the sake of simplicity, but they exist under varying levels of invasiveness, okay? So I actually started to script out a video last year for my makeup musing series, this series, and the title of the video that I never actually filmed or posted, but the title was going to be The Paradox of Plastic Surgery Transparency. And the video basically detailed the idea that in theory, being open and transparent about plastic surgery is a good thing. You know, I'm a makeup reviewer. I share my thoughts on products all the time. In order for me to do this job accurately, I would need to disclose any cosmetic treatments that I've had done. Like if I had lip filler, that could change the way that a lip product applies on my lips because the skin gets stretched out a little bit. Therefore, lip products tend to sit a bit more smooth. They might look better. That will influence my opinion on the product and consequently my review. So for me to accurately review a product, I would need to disclose that. Which, to be clear, I do not have lip filler, but I also don't think anyone was questioning that. But the premise of this video that I, again, never filmed or posted was that this increased level of transparency has also normalized the unnormal. Things like getting Botox in your early 20s, feeling the need and pressure to get lip filler or other facial fillers or other cosmetic treatments like extreme lasers, etc. You know, in the theme of transparency, we see people getting these things done so much more, we're hearing about them, and consequently that increased exposure normalizes it. And there's an algorithmic level to this as well, because let's say your favorite creator comes on camera to be transparent and tell you that they've had something done. Well, the way online algorithms work, because you watched that content, subsequently you will be served up content on that same topic. So if your favorite creator comes on to tell you they just got a nose job, well, the next few videos on your feed will probably be themed around nose jobs, and suddenly this little voice in your head starts telling you maybe you should get a nose job. Everyone's getting a nose job. And consequently, that increased exposure makes it feel normal and necessary for everyone, because the more people that opt into a beauty standard, the more power that it holds. And when I've talked about this in videos before, it gets dismissed a lot as just being an online trend. I hear that no one in the real world is doing this. It's just influencers. It's just people online. It doesn't actually translate. But let's look at some numbers. From 2019 to 2022, there was an 18% increase in facial cosmetic procedures in the United States. In that time, the number of Botox injections jumped by 73%. And according to the American Academy of Facial Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery, Gen Z is helping drive up demand. In a 2022 survey, 75% of facial plastic surgeons reported that more clients under 30 were requesting forehead pokes and lip plumping. And according to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, facelifts increased 8% year over year in 2023. Chin liposuction saw a 6% increase, and eyelid surgery and nose reshaping increased at 5% and 6% respectively. And out of curiosity, I looked up a lot of these popular treatments that I hear people talking about on Google Trends to see if there was an increase in search traffic, and unsurprisingly, there was. Some of the phrases I looked up include upper blepharoplasty, which is a treatment to have the skin removed on your upper eyelid. Lower blepharoplasty, same thing, on the bottom, chin filler, masseter Botox, all of these phrases trending upwards at an undeniable rate. And returning to the idea that I presented earlier that people are less interested in wearing less makeup because they're now opting for different beauty treatments, we see this reflected in numbers as well. Women's Wear Daily writes, despite historical precedent that the opposite should be the case, they're referring to the lipstick index here, makeup sales are beginning to decline. Data from NIQ shows that total makeup sales dropped 1% from January through October 2024, with the downturn accelerating particularly during the last 12 weeks of that period. It makes cosmetics the only beauty category to see an overall decline in sales. And now things like Botox and filler that were once considered luxuries are being viewed and described as maintenance. And again, this beauty maintenance needs to be continually upkept. Again, the hot girl hamster wheel that we referenced earlier, requiring more time and more money, and not to mention the high cost of these procedures make them completely inaccessible to so many people. And the word that we hear the most often these days when describing cosmetic procedures is undetectable. I have spoken extensively about the undetectable era that we're in, and I've talked about this from the lens of cosmetic procedures, but also from the lens of makeup. People want to have things done, whether it be cosmetic procedures or applying makeup, but they don't want it to be visible that anything is done. They want to look natural. And that phrase of undetectable era has been really creeping into our vocabulary lately when discussing plastic surgery. And I generally see it presented from a positive lens. You know, the idea of undetectable work is supposed to symbolize our acceptance of bodies that look natural and human. Two notable celebrities that have recently been praised for this, Christina Aguilera, Lindsay Lohan. Their faces have been headline news. They're being praised for looking natural, when in reality, there's nothing natural about what they've had done outside of the way that it looks. Despite what everyone is saying, the increase in undetectable work does not celebrate natural beauty. It rejects it and suggests that our natural faces and the natural signs of aging that our faces carry need to be tweaked, need to be intervened upon. USA Today writes, the undetectable era may bring less transparency, making it more crucial than ever for people to stop comparing their looks to celebrities. You know, when you can physically see that a celebrity or influencer or person has had work done, it's easier to remind yourself not to compare yourself because you can see that something has been done. But this new undetectable era really blurs that line, and our perception gets completely distorted. And unsurprisingly, our obsession with undetectable makeup parallels the dominance of clean girl beauty these last 4 or so years. You know, don't get me wrong, we've seen some deviation away from the clean girl look, but it's pretty undeniable that this has been the overarching theme in beauty for the last few years. And you know, the hallmark of the clean girl look is undetectable makeup. We've watched a lot of related beauty trends gain popularity under the umbrella of clean girl. You know, last year we saw so many beauty publications reporting that mascara was out. I was also seeing that under eye concealer was out. Everyone's been saying that eyeshadow is out. You know, if you were reading these headlines, you would assume that no one is wearing makeup anymore. And therein lies my thesis for this video. No one is. Now, obviously, that's hyperbolic. There are plenty of people still wearing makeup. I am literally applying it as I'm speaking right now. But I would argue we've traded in our makeup products for semi-permanent and sometimes actually permanent beauty treatments. Because who needs to fill in their eyebrows when brow tinting and lamination exists? Who needs to apply lipstick when lip blushing exists? Who needs to wear mascara when lash lifts and lash tints exist? Who needs concealer when blepharoplasties and PRF under eye injections exist? Who needs blush and highlighter when cheek filler exists? And you know, when the clean girl look started gaining momentum a few years ago, I was actually pretty pleased. At the time, it was nice to see the deviation away from makeup looks that really emphasized baking, heavy contouring, to almost morph your face into this one homogeneous Instagram face that we were all trying to achieve. And the rise in minimal, clean girl makeup felt like the antithesis of that, at least at first. But I would argue that today, the clean girl look has morphed into that same homogeneous look that we were chasing after in the full glam era of beauty that still aspires to an unattainable level of beauty. But now, instead of achieving it through advanced makeup techniques like baking and contouring, we're now expected to invest in beauty treatments that look like we're not wearing anything at all. And the illusion of the clean girl look is that it feels attainable on some level, because in ways, it looks natural, it's undetectable. But in reality, it requires just as much, and actually debatably more, maintenance than the popular makeup looks that preceded it, while also being more invasive, more expensive, and for so many people, just completely out of reach in general. You know, I've talked about a lot of illusions in this video, starting with the illusion that it's possible to be high maintenance in order to be low maintenance. The illusion that clean girl makeup celebrates natural beauty. And there's also the illusion that the clean girl look is easier for people to achieve. You know, the illusion that it requires us to do less. And again, maybe on a day-to-day basis it does, because maybe you've gone out and done lip blushing and brow lamination and other cosmetic treatments. But in reality, we're not doing less, we're just hiding the effort so it's no longer visible to others. And I want to be clear that this video is not an anti-plastic surgery or cosmetic treatments video. This is not a takedown of the plastic surgery industry, because to speak candidly, in a way that probably feels too vulnerable for me to want to do on camera, but this is something that personally I've always had an ongoing internal dilemma about. You know, especially as someone that films videos online, I look at my face more than any one person should ever have to look at their face. I edit all my own videos, so I spend so many hours a week staring at my face. So I am way too familiar with all my perceived flaws, because either I see them myself when I'm staring at myself for hours on end, or if they're flaws that I don't see in myself, certainly a complete stranger on the internet will bring them to my attention. And I, like probably all of us, feel inadequate all the time because of the same beauty standards that we're all plagued by. These beauty standards don't just exist as concepts that I'm talking about in a video. They manifest in real ways that make me feel insecure and inadequate. I'm sure at some point in time we have all felt them. And then in my head, I start listening to that little voice that my logical brain is able to tune out. But the expectations get so loud and so heavy that then I think, okay, well, maybe I should go and have X, Y, and Z done. It would make me feel more confident. It would make me feel more beautiful. These people are saying I should get this done. Maybe I go get this done. But it's a double-edged sword, because let's say I go out and get a lower blepharoplasty, which I'm not really considering doing, but let's imagine that I did. Maybe I would feel better because I wouldn't be insecure about this perceived flaw on my under eyes, but my participation in correcting that flaw, correcting, only feeds and gives power to the beauty standard that is plaguing all of us. You know, we give them strength when we participate in them. And then when I think of it from that lens, I feel shame for wanting to participate, and then I choose not to, but then I still feel bad because I haven't had blank done, and this entire industry preys on my insecurity for not having blank done, and every day I still feel bad about myself. So either way, we lose. There isn't a choice that feels good. I participate, I feel bad. I don't participate, I feel bad. And hearing the increased conversation around plastic surgery, cosmetic procedures, even the minimally invasive ones, even just the beauty treatments, the increased exposure has only normalized them, making us all feel that it's a necessity to have these things done. To round this conversation out, I want to leave a request for all of us, including myself. I want to adjust the way we talk about this topic by omitting the phrase beauty maintenance from our vocabulary when we are describing these tasks. The word maintenance carries an insinuation of obligation. Like, these are things we have to do. To maintain myself, I must get my eyebrows microbladed, my lashes lift, my face poked, the phrasing of beauty maintenance perpetuates this. So instead, I am personally going to start describing it as what it truly is, a beauty treatment. It's not maintenance, it's not something that has to be maintained, it's not something you have to do. It is simply a beauty treatment. It's not an obligation. I hope you enjoyed my first makeup musings of 2025. I have been doing this series for a year now. I will leave the playlist linked down below if you want to watch others, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.